शुभं करोतु कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते। दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हर्तु मे पापं दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते। भो दीपदेवरूपस्त्वं कर्मसाक्षी ह्यविघ्नकृत यावत् कर्म समाप्ति स्यात् तावत् त्वं सुस्थिरो भव। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। As most of you know, that we take up one chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and we have 4 days to do a chapter of the Gita. So obviously we cannot do all the verses of a given chapter. So we select some important verses from a given chapter and discuss them. The idea is that in that manner we are able to discuss all the important topics of a chapter. You get an overview of the chapter, the teaching of the chapter, and all the important topics of the chapter. So last year we did the 14th chapter of the Gita. That 14th chapter concluded with the description of a wise person. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna describes the characteristics or traits of a wise person in several places. The most famous description is that of a Sthita Prajna, a man of abiding wisdom, in the 2nd chapter of the Gita. Then we have some verses in 3rd chapter also, the 4th chapter also, 5th chapter, 6th chapter, 12th chapter, again well known verses describing the bhakta or the devotee. 14th chapter, again we had the characteristics of a wise person. A wise person is the one who abides in wisdom. Wisdom has become his second nature. As our Vijay just said, Swam acharate yasmad. While explaining our Acharya, one of the characteristics of the Acharya was Swam acharate. One who puts into practice who walks the talk. He puts into acharanam, puts into his practice or daily conduct the very wisdom that he imparts to others. And so Arjuna is always very desirous of knowing the characteristics of a wise person, because what is effortless or spontaneous for a wise person are the traits that an aspirant can cultivate by practice. What is spontaneous for the person, wise person, becomes something to be emulated by a seeker. He becomes a role model. And we form ourselves to become like him by conducting ourselves as he conducts. And this character is essentially very similar. Lord Krishna says, Samadukha Sukha Swastha. One who abides in his own self, abides in his own true nature. So what Vedanta teaches, by virtue of knowledge, is that we just have to be true to ourselves. Nothing new is to be accomplished. We just have to be what our true nature is, what we truly are. The reason why we have to make an effort to be ourselves It sounds a bit strange, is it not though? That you have to make an effort to be yourself. Does fire have to make an effort to be hot? Does sun have to make an effort to be bright? Should not be. Because that is your nature. To be what you are should not require any effort really. But unfortunately what happened is, we are as though estranged from our own true nature. As though. For that the Vedanta tells the story, a famous story, of the 10th man. How once upon a time, a number of boys in a village wanted to go for a picnic, and they had to seek permission from the elder of the village for them to go. So previous evening, they all went to the elder in the village and sought his permission that tomorrow we like to go for a picnic. Can we do that? The old man says, sure, you can go. Except that one of you should take the responsibility of bringing everybody safely back. So one of them volunteered to take the responsibility of bringing everybody back safely. Okay, children, let me count how many you are. Line up in front of me. All children lined up in front of this old person and he counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 of you. Your responsibility to make sure that all the 10 return safely. Yes, I will do. So next day they went for a picnic. On their way came a river. They all crossed the river, reached the other bank of the river. At that time, this boy who had volunteered to take the responsibility of the safe return of all of them thought that before we proceed further, let me verify if all of us cross the river or not. So we used to count them. Now he remembered how the old person had counted them the previous evening. So he also asked, come on fellows, line up in front of me, let me count. They were lined up in front of him. He counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We were 10. Counted again. Counted several times. Every time the count was 9. He became somewhat nervous. He called one of his friends. You please count. That fellow came forward. This fellow joined the line. He counted also. Thus one by one, each of them came and counted, and the count was 9. Now they're convinced that the 10th boy is lost. They divided themselves to search parties and searched for the whole day. Could not find the 10th man. In the evening, tired, exhausted, crying, they are sitting under a tree, not knowing what to do. Fortunately for them, another old man happened to pass by. So these children were very sad. And he came to them and asked them, what's the matter? Why are you so sad? Then this leader stood up and told the story as to how one of us is lost. How did you determine that one of us we counted? How did you count? He demonstrated how he counted. It was very obvious for the old person how the 10th man was. He said, don't worry, children, I will show you where the 10th man is. Oh, have you seen him? I have seen him. With this assurance, all the sadness is gone. Okay, he's there. Some place is there. They don't know where he is. Maybe this man is seen in some place. You see, yes, I have seen him. So now, a confidence is created in him. The old man inspires confidence in them. Shraddha, it is called in Sanskrit. So, okay, do as I tell you. Count again. Again he counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where is the 10th boy? You are the 10th boy. That is how they found the 10th boy. Isn't it? Here is a very unique or peculiar situation where knowing the 10th boy is the same as finding the 10th boy. You follow? If the 10th boy was really lost, then knowing will not be finding. Then finding will require an effort. But here, they think that the 10th boy is lost. In fact, it's not like he does not, I am the 10th boy. In some way, he is estranged from his nature. He is the 10th boy, but does not know that he is the 10th boy. And therefore, the teaching. So that is why I require a teacher. Because they will never suspect, regardless of how much they search, they will never suspect that the one who is searching for is the 10th boy. Would they ever? Never. In fact, more they fail to find the 10th boy, more they will search for him. Is it not so? This is the story of our life also. We are all searching for something. Searching for happiness, searching for peace, searching for love. And just as they were searching for 10th boy out there where he is not, we are also searching for the happiness and freedom out there where it is not. Vedanta teaches, Tattvamasi, that thou art. Just as that boy was told, you are the 10th man. In a simple manner, Vedanta teaches, you are what you are searching for. You already are what you are trying to become. You are trying to become free. You are trying to become happy. For that, you are searching for happiness. You are searching for freedom someplace. And human being can never find that happiness or the freedom that is searching, regardless of what he does. Looks like happiness has come. Momentarily we do become happy. It seems to elude us. Again we search for happiness. This 10th man story is the story of the human being. And therefore, we require this teaching. It just doesn't say you are the 10th man, you are. It unfolds. This sentence has to be unfolded. Understand how the instruction about the 10th man was given. He was not just told you are the 10th man. He was made to count the 9 all the context is created for this fellow who is now ready to understand that Vakya, otherwise he would not understand. How can I be 10th man? He was made to count, the context is created and then is made to see that he is 10th man. The words of the teacher makes a student see the meaning of the words. In this case, he is the subject matter. What's the meaning? He sees himself. That I am the 10th man. So Vedanta says that solution is very simple. We simply have to be what we are. And one who gains the knowledge and abides his knowledge is called a wise person. Arjuna wants to know Kimacharah katham chaitan trin gunanati vartate. Oh Lord, this wise person, how is his conduct? What is his characteristic? And how does he conduct himself? The reason why Arjuna asked this question is, by observing his conduct, we can also conduct ourselves in that manner, so that someday we can become like him. If a boy wants to become a cricketer, he has such as Sachin Tendulkar as his role model, or Virat Kohli or Mahendra Singh, somebody or the other, a role model. And he will study him, how he holds the bat, how he swings the bat, how he runs, emulating his conduct to become like him. Thus in 14th chapter, at the end of the chapter, in a few verses, Lord Krishna describes his wise person. Swastha, the one who abides in his true nature. Meaning that one who has become truly what he is. That freedom is our nature. Happiness is our nature. And therefore we don't have to become free. You don't have to become happy. In fact, every attempt to become happy is a denial of happiness. Understand? Every attempt to search for the 10th man is the denial of the 10th man. Because the search for the 10th man presupposes that I am not the 10th man. I could not be searching for the 10th man unless I have concluded that I am not the 10th man. How can I be searching otherwise? So every time this person searches for the 10th man, he is denying his own nature of being 10th man. Is it not so? Thus, because of ignorance, a self-denial is going on in our life. We are constantly denying ourselves. We are constantly disowning ourselves. There is nothing wrong in searching for wealth or fame or power. It is quite all right that we search for these, we achieve those things, because they are not attained. It is attainment of what is not attained. But we are seeking success. We are seeking happiness. No, this is something we cannot attain because success is our nature. Happiness is our nature. So what do we have to do? What should the 10th boy do? Stop searching for the 10th boy. and be ready to appreciate his own self. So after counting the 9, he is now in a frame of mind where he has a shraddha or the faith or trust in that old person. He possesses now a focus of the mind where he is now ready to receive or understand the words of the teacher. So we require that preparation. Words are very simple. You are free. You are happiness. You are limitless. These are the words. To understand these words, we require a certain disposition of mind. Because it happens that in spite of hearing these words again and again, somehow they do not seem to impact us. The 10th boy came to know that I am the 10th boy simply by one sentence. Similarly, there can be a Nachiketa or a Shvetaketu or some aspirant or a student of a very high caliber for whom perhaps one time teaching is enough. But we find that we have to listen to it again and again. Either what we are told is not right, or in spite of it being right, somehow we are not disposed to receive that. We find it hard to believe. Swamiji, don't tell me that I am happiness. Don't tell me. Don't tell me I am limitless. How can I be? It's hard to believe. My mind simply does not cooperate with me. My conclusion that I am a limited being, I am a small, helpless, hapless creature. I am insignificant. I don't count at all. I am no good. In my own perception, I am no good. I don't respect myself. I don't accept myself. Sometimes I reject myself. I won't condemn myself. So when I am in self-rejecting mood, self-condemning mood, when I conclude that I am rejectable, I am condemnable, if that is my disposition, and when somebody says you are limitless, it just, my mind simply is not ready to accept. In fact, sometimes it reacts, what do you mean I am limitless? How can I be? Therefore, Vedanta talks about the preparation. For the 10th man, preparation was, of course, he was made to count, and some preparation, some context was created. So we also require a preparation, just to be ourselves. Isn't it amazing? Just as in case of the 10th man, what he first needed to do was to stop searching for the 10th man. Stop looking outside of himself. And he was now available to look at his own self. Similarly, when our mind also stops searching for this happiness outside, stop searching for peace or freedom outside, and is disposed to look at its own self. When can we know ourselves? only when we are looking at ourselves. Is it not so? When can I see something? When I am looking at what I want to see. When can I know something? When my attention is focused on what I want to know. It is not that I want to know the flower which is here and I am looking in some other direction. It won't work. I should be looking where the flower is. And I should, in case my eyes need some correction, then I should carry out that correction also. If there is cataract or some problem with my eyes, I should make those corrections also. Similarly, to know the self, we need to look at ourselves. Sounds simple, isn't it? To be ourselves is simple, is it not so? We must have in the past told you the story of a simply sitting Swami, you remember? It seems in south of India, in the temple of Lord Shiva. Every day when Swamiji used to come, sit in front of the Lord and sit there for the whole day. Did nothing else. And for that, every day he received one measure of rice. The rice was offered to Lord Shiva as Naivedya. And as it is the custom in the temple, that prasada is then distributed to the priests and some other, other people who are working in the temple. This is how they generally do. And even though this Swamiji was not a part of the temple, but for some reason he was always receiving one measure of rice. It happened that a new administrator came to this temple. And when a new management comes, first thing they look at is the cost, the expenses. Where are we spending money? Where we can cut corners. So this new administrator was examining what various expenses are, and then he came to this distribution of prasad, rice. And he found that among other people, even this Swamiji also was receiving one measure of rice. So he asked this manager, why are you giving rice to this person? We don't know, it's just coming down. We are told to do that. What does it do for the time? What does it do? Doesn't do anything. You are not doing anything, for simply sitting, you are giving him this one measure of rice, prasad. Stop it. Stop. So next day this poor Swamiji comes. He doesn't receive his rice. That is his food for the whole day. He is hungry. Next day also he did not receive. Then third day he went to the office to find out what's the matter. He was told that our new administrator has come. He says, you are not doing anything. You are receiving this prasad simply for sitting. Then you don't deserve it. He says, okay. I invite our new administrator also to come and simply sit with me. So they told him. That's what Swami is. Sure, I can sit with him simply. What is there in simply sitting? So next morning he also came and sat with his Swami. He sat for a minute or two and then started counting how many devotees are there. So he said, don't do that, just sit. How many pillars he started counting? Don't count. How many beams are there? Don't count. Try some doodles. Don't do anything, just sit. In 5 minutes this man got up. He realized that he cannot simply sit. It is so difficult to simply sit. It is so difficult to be with our own self. We have to somehow keep ourselves busy with one activity or the other. And the modern day business people know this very well, and therefore they keep on providing us with variety of escape distractions, whether it is started internet, with a cell phone, with WhatsApp, with games, with all kinds of things, so that we can escape from ourselves, that we don't have to confront ourselves, we don't have to sit with ourselves. Why do we have so much difficulty in sitting with ourselves? Because we don't like ourselves. We are not happy with ourselves. We are not satisfied with ourselves. We do not love ourselves. We don't like ourselves. That is why we always look away from ourselves, to avoid ourselves. If that is the kind of mind, there is no way that we can ever discover our true nature, even though we can be told 100 times that you are Brahman and you are limitless. I am looking someplace else. And wherever I look is all limited. So first thing that is required is develop a comfort with our own self. That we like ourselves. That we are comfortable, happy with ourselves, comfortable with ourselves. That is the first qualification for the knowledge. It's an interesting qualification, not so? Because for knowing the self, the mind should be naturally directed towards the self. And for the mind to be directed towards the self, it should like the self, otherwise you don't look at it. We don't like to look at something that we don't like. We do not like to be with somebody whom we don't like. We like to be with somebody whom we like. We like to look at someone whom we like. So when I become the object of my like, when I develop a comfort with myself, that becomes the preparation for knowing myself. When can I be with myself? When my mind is withdrawn from everything else. It cannot be that my mind is wandering everywhere and I am with myself. It cannot be. That my mind no more wanders anywhere. That it is happily with itself. Then when that mind is told that you are happiness, that mind will be able to see that fact. But today it is difficult for me to withdraw my mind from things because there is so much attraction there. Even though I may be apparent, you think that this Swami is meditating, I may be. Outwardly it looks like I am meditating. Inwardly I am just thinking, when will this meditation be over so that I can go back to my newspaper, my WhatsApp, my something or the other. Those cravings are there in our heart. Cravings for what? Cravings for those things which we look upon as the objects of pleasure, objects of happiness. They naturally attract our mind. So lots of temptations are there. Many things attract me. And whether I like it or not, they pull away my mind from myself. It seems that I do not have the freedom to keep my mind with myself. My mind should be more under the control of other fellows than my own self. Like sometimes we find that our child doesn't listen to us. Even little one. When the child starts going to school and comes home and does something, mother says, Beta, no, don't do it this way. No, my teacher has told me. So teacher has more impact on the child than the mother. And then there are peer pressure. So many things actually control, meaning that sometimes our own people are not in our control. Similarly, our own mind is not in our control. It seems to be controlled by so many attractions and temptations. Therefore, the mind has to be made free from those temptations, from those attractions, from those cravings. Then alone it can comfortably stay with itself. In Vedanta, this is called Vairagya. Vairagya means dispassion. That craving that we have for enjoying things, being with other things, call it craving. In Sanskrit, eshana, or desires. So the mind should become free from those cravings, from those desires, from those temptations, from those attractions. When can that happen? Only when the mind realizes that these objects of the world do not contain what it thinks they contain. The reason why the mind runs towards things is because it finds happiness there, it finds peace there, it finds comfort there. The mind is to see this fact that they are devoid of happiness, devoid of comfort, that nothing in the world can give us happiness or comfort or freedom. Yeah, comfort is one thing, happiness is a different thing. For that we have to analyze the nature of things. In our own way we analyzed them and concluded that they have happiness. But then the world should be analyzed as Vedanta directs us to do, to understand the true nature of the world and discover that it does not possess what we think it possesses. It does not possess the happiness or the freedom which we think it has. Nothing wrong with the world, understand. Vedanta does not condemn the world, does not reject the world. We cannot live our life without the world. We very much require it. But the world is not designed to give us that happiness or freedom which is what we want. That one thing has to be discovered from our own self. And therefore, in the 15th chapter, the 14th chapter describes the wise person. His characteristics, his freedom was described. How he is free from all reactions. One way of describing freedom is freedom from reactions, freedom from helplessness, Freedom from compulsion. Freedom from inner pressure. Very often we feel pressure. Pressure to talk. I have to say something. Pressure to punish somebody. Pressure to retaliate. So it's anger, jealousy, greed, cravings. These things in fact put pressure. The reason why that man was not able to sit there quietly even for a few minutes is because there was a lot of inner pressure in his mind. Pressure of cravings, of hurt, guilt, anger, jealousy. As long as this demoniac tendencies are there in our mind, they do not allow us the peace of mind. Meaning, as long as they are there, we cannot be at peace with our own self. So what is freedom? Freedom is freedom from inner compulsion, freedom from inner pressure, freedom to be just be myself, freedom to be with myself and be myself. Freedom to be what I want to do, not what I'm asked to do. Sama dukkha sukha swastha. Swastha, always comfortable. Whether situation is what we call sukha or dukkha, is favorable or unfavorable. Tulya priya priyodhira tulya nindatma samstuti. Whether somebody ninda, meaning somebody censures him, somebody praises him, all of these are equal, meaning that it does not in any way disturb his inner composure. We get disturbed in both the situations. When somebody criticizes me, there is no question, I react. But when somebody praises me, then also I get disturbed. I react with elation. There is also reaction. A person can remain composed, tranquil, at peace with himself, abiding in himself. That is called freedom. That's called moksha. So this is how the wise person was described at the end of the 14th chapter. Manapamanayo's tulyo mitrari pakshayoho. Whether you mana or apmana, you honor him or dishonor him, he is equally comfortable. Whether friend or a foe, equally comfortable. Success or failure, equally comfortable. Meaning nothing distracts him from his own self. Nothing shakes him up from his own self. He remains abiding in his true self. So then naturally Arjuna would want to know, oh Lord, I want to become that, I want, So therefore, what is required is self-knowledge, knowledge of the self. It is the knowledge of the self that made that person free. And therefore, the 15th chapter is commenced by Lord Krishna with the intention of imparting the knowledge of the true nature of the self. Even though Arjuna is not asked, but Lord Krishna senses that this is what Arjuna wants to know, or this is what Arjuna needs. Either the teacher senses what the disciple wants to know, All senses what it needs to know. Sometimes we also may not know what it is that we need, but the teacher knows what we need, and therefore he takes the initiative to in fact tell us that. So there are many discourses in Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna takes the initiative on his own to give the discourse. Ideally, this teaching should be imparted only when someone asks for it. Only when someone wants to ask for it, then alone it should be. Because when you ask for it, that shows that you have value for it. Meaning that this is a valuable thing and therefore should only be given to the one who has a value for it. To a child, if you give the child wants a candy, to distract the mind of the child, you take out your wristwatch, $2,000 wristwatch, give the child. He throws it away. He has no value for that. He only values, he doesn't know what. Similarly, no point in giving something to somebody who has no value for it. Therefore, the scriptures generally say that this knowledge should be imparted to someone who asks for it, meaning that someone who has a value for it. But we find in the Bhagavad Gita that a number of chapters begin with the discourse of Lord Krishna without Arjuna asking for it. Because Lord Krishna sees a need on the part of Arjuna. Either an unasked question is there in the mind of Arjuna, or Lord Krishna feels that Arjuna needs to know. And therefore, the 15th chapter begins with the words of Lord Krishna. And even though Lord Krishna wants to impart the self-knowledge, because that is what will make Arjuna a wise person, but the 15th chapter does not right away start with the unfoldment of the nature of self. Lord Krishna describes the nature of the world, nature of samsara, nature of the world, nature of life is what Lord Krishna first describes. Instead of starting with the description of the self, Lord Krishna begins his discourse with a description of the world, of the samsara. Why? In order to create what we call vairagya for the samsara. Vairagya means freedom from craving, freedom from attachment, freedom from fascination. As long as there is craving in my mind, attachment in my mind, or fascination, so long my mind, whether I like it or not, my mind will be distracted to the object of fascination. Therefore, first thing that needs to happen is our mind should become free from the cravings and fascinations and attachments for the things. How? By understanding things for what they are. When we understand the true nature of the objects, today the wealth, the fame, the power, and many other things attract me because I strongly believe that they give me happiness, they give me success, they give me empowerment. This is what I have concluded, and therefore I want them. And as long as my mind has a value for those things, so long it cannot be abiding in itself. It would not be available for contemplating upon the self. Therefore, Lord Krishna describes the samsara to help us understand its true nature. so that we can become free from the attraction that we have, the fascination that we have. We can become free from cravings, attachments, attractions. The state of the mind which is free from cravings or attachment or attraction is called vairagya, means dispassion. For vairagya, Lord Krishna describes the samsara. And an imagery is given, imagery of a tree. It's called rupaka in Sanskrit. So Lord Krishna describes samsara as a tree. The tree of samsara is what Lord Krishna describes. So let us look at our text here, page 9. In the first verse that we have selected, describes the tree of samsara. So let us read that. I will chant one line, you please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulamadash-shakham Ashvatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani Yastam veda sa vedavita. Look at the translation. The Lord said, they say the Ashwatha tree, which has its root above, its branches below, very peculiar tree. This is the tree of samsara called Ashwatha. We call it people tree. In most languages, you understand what is people tree. Ficus religiosa, it's also Ashwatha. So samsara is compared to a tree, and particularly Ashwatha tree or people tree. And the description also is very peculiar. This is a tree with roots above and branches below. There cannot be a tree with roots above and branches below. A traditional tree has its roots below and branches above. Is it not so? And then, even then Lord Krishna says, here is a tree with roots above and branches below. That means that the words above and below are used not in a conventional sense, in a different sense. Above and below can be in the context of space above and space below. But we also use above and below in terms of what was satta or the power. A person who enjoys a higher position of power is also called above, and a person who has the lower satta or lower power is called below. In the olden days, sometimes in India, in the government offices, you might find a notice which says order from above. Have you ever seen that? Order from above. What is above? Above means from the higher authorities. So higher authority also is called above as compared to one who has a lower authority. There is also a word called satta, which also perhaps you may understand. Satta means power or authority. Satta also means reality. You know? Sat means real. And Satta means state of reality. So Satta means authority or power. Satta also means reality. So just as in our day-to-day language, the words above and below are used for Satta or power or authority. Similarly here also, Lord Krishna used the word above and below in the sense of Satta in the sense of reality. Above means having a higher reality. Below means having a lower reality. Not in terms of space above and below, in terms of a higher reality and a lower reality. So this universe of samsara is compared to a tree. In a tree, we see the stem and we see the branches, we see the whole tree. But usually roots are not seen because roots are buried in the ground. The tree is perceptible to the senses, roots are not perceptible. What is perceptible to senses is called manifest or vyakta, in Sanskrit vyakta or manifest, and what is not perceptible to senses called avyakta or unmanifest. For example, the sun that is shining in the sky, when we see that sun, it is called the manifest. Sun is manifest to our eyes. But if the sun is covered by clouds, then even though the sun is shining, we do not experience the light because sun cannot be seen by our eyes. Sun is unmanifest. You follow? When the sun is without the obstruction of cloud, it is manifest, meaning that we clearly experience it. And when the sun is covered by the clouds, then we do not experience it even though it is there. Even though the sun is shining, because it is covered by the clouds, therefore we cannot experience the light of the sun. So something which is there but not experienced is called unmanifest. Something that is there and experience is called manifest, and something which is there and not experienced is called unmanifest. Manifest is called vyakta, unmanifest is called avyakta. In a tree, there is something vyakta, something avyakta, something manifest, something unmanifest. In a tree, something is manifest. What is manifest? What is perceptible to our eyes or what is experienced by us in the tree? The whole stem and branches, the entire tree. What is unmanifest? What is there but which we cannot see? What is it? The roots, right? Although when we see the tree, we definitely infer that the roots must be there because without the roots the tree cannot stand. So when we perceive the tree, we know inferentially, indirectly the roots are there, but the roots are not perceptible, they are unmanifest. But the tree is because of the roots. Here Lord Krishna equates this world that we see, you and I, this world of names and forms, of five elements, earth, water, fire, air, space, of a number of different kinds of living beings, beginning from a human being to an amoeba, all kinds of creatures are there. above, below, all. It's a mind-boggling creation. The whole universe is essentially manifest to us. Even though you may not see it now, it is seeable, meaning that someday you can see. We don't know, even sun or the things that are beyond our perception also, someday you'll see them. So many galaxies and things like that. They all fall in the category of what? Perceptible or vyakta. Whole universe. But we see the universe, but we do not see something. If universe is compared to the tree, then we see the tree of the universe, and what is that we do not see? When the tree is there, we know that the roots must be there, because without the roots the tree cannot stand. Similarly also, the universe is there, which is perceptible to us, which is experienced by us. That draws our attention to the fact that there must be a root, there is something because of which the universe is, The tree of the universe we see, there is something because of which universe is. So roots are those which give because of which the tree is. The roots give easiness to the tree. So also there is something because of which the universe is. That's called the root. Root also is called the cause. The root of the thing, the cause of the thing. Meaning that is the cause of the universe, because the universe is. And cause is higher than the effect. Cause is more pervasive than the effect. Cause is subtler than the effect. So cause is higher, effect is lower. So Lord, Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam. This universe is like a tree which has branches below and the roots above. So what is below? Below means having a lower reality. We see that everything in the universe is limited. Limited in time, limited in place, limited in attributes. So everything in the universe is limited. Is it not so? The universe has a beginning, and therefore universe also will have an end. It is changing, it is perishable. Is it not so? Whatever is created has to come to an end someday. So whatever is created is constantly rushing towards this destruction, meaning perishable. So what we experience in the universe is changing, perishable, limited. What we experience are many, diverse, there is diversity, there is multiplicity, there is variety. That's the universe. But Vedanta says that don't think that this is all there is. You see the tree, all right. Don't think that that's all there is about the tree. There is something that you do not see. What is that? The roots are there. Even though you do not see, understand that there are roots which are because of which the tree is. And so we see the universe. Don't think that this is all there is. There is something because of which the universe is. What is it? What do you think it must be? Something that you don't see, but without which the universe cannot be. What do you think it must be? What is Lord Krishna talking about? Call it God? We don't believe in God. Where is your God, Swami? Show me. We think that we can believe in something only we can see. But roots you cannot see, but you know that they are there. Without which roots the tree cannot be. Roots are the cause of the tree. So also universe must have a cause because it is born, is it not? Universe has a beginning, that's what they tell us. You must be knowing when did the universe begin? How many years ago? How many billion years ago? What's the latest figure? 12.5? At some point it was 18 billion, then 16 billion, then 14. I think now they take 12.5 billion. Meaning it had a beginning. They tell us there is an expanding universe. The galaxies are just expanding and moving away at a very fast rate from each other. But a time will come when it will run out of steam and then it cannot. Then what will happen? It will start contracting and get back to its root again. Beginning, manifest, unmanifest. So, when the universe it must have a cause from which it emerges, by which it is sustained, unto which it goes back. So, the universe is a creation, has an effect, it is a cause. That cause is called by various names. Most famous name is God. We don't see God. But we can infer, just as we can infer the presence of the roots from the tree, because we know that the tree cannot be without the roots. Similarly also, when we see the universe, we can infer the presence of Ishvara. We infer, the Shastra tells us that is Ishvara. Urdhvam Moolam, that Moolam, the root, is Ishvara. Urdhvam, that is limitless. The universe is below, is lower, in reality it is limited. The root is Ishvara, who is limitless. The cause is limitless, effect is limited. Cause is one, effect is many. The one becoming many. The limitless appearing as limited. The one appearing as many. There are other words in Vedanta. Many of you must have heard this famous sentence. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Somebody asked Shankaracharya ji to summarize Vedanta in one verse. Can you summarize the teaching of Vedanta in one verse? He said, I can summarize in half verse. He said one verse. But the one half verse was used up in describing what he's going to say. Shlokadena pravakshami yaduktam grantha koti. He says, I will describe to you in a half verse what is said in a number of texts. I will tell you in half a verse. So one verse, first half is gone in saying this. So what's a half verse? Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. Brahma Satyam, Brahma or Ishvara is, or truth is Satyam. So Bhagavan is called Satyam in Shastra. What we call God, in Upanishad is called Satyam Jnanam Anantam, is called Satyam. This you will accept. We may have allergy with the word God. Many people have allergy. Don't talk of God with us. These days, this secular yoga. So many yoga students, they come and tell the teacher, don't talk about God and don't talk about spiritual things, Secular yoga. Something happens when they hear about God, something happens. Some allergy is there, some reaction comes. That's not a very right attitude. We are not saying that you should simply accept because the teacher tells you that. We are not saying. We should not reject something without an understanding what they want to tell. I don't believe in God. But how do you say, what is God? What do you not believe in? I don't believe in God. Please tell me which God you don't believe in. Then he has to give some description. What God you do not believe in? Even we don't believe in that God, by the way. The God in which you do not believe, we also don't believe in that God. We're talking about a God that we talk about. We say that there is a truth or reality in this universe. There is something that is real, satyam, or the truth. Do you believe in truth or not in the life? Do you believe in speaking truth or not? Everybody believes that truth is a basic value of life. What is truth? Truth is that which does not change. Is it not so? When I tell you something here today, in this hall, if tomorrow I say the same thing in a different way, then you say, Swamiji, you are lying. Sometimes children catch their parents, Poor mother, wants to really protect something, and their impression. So outwardly she says something, to the guest. That my child is like this and like that. No, mom, you are lying. That fellow says. Because the child knows that mother says something in home and something else outside and something to me and somebody else. When it changes, it can't be called truth. Is it not so? What is truth? Must be consistent. What was said yesterday is what is said today, meaning it should not change in time. What is said here is what is said outside, should not change in place. What is said in this situation should be said in other situation, meaning should not change under circumstances. Then only it can be called truth, is it not so? That which does not change in time, place, situation, that can be called truth. Vedanta says there is a truth like that. You may say, Swamiji, there is no truth in this world. Nobody speaks truth. Maybe. But Vedanta says there is truth in the life. Vedanta, what is God? There is inherent goodness in life, we are told. Inherent fairness, inherent goodness, inherent truth. Because we see this world, everywhere there are conflicts, everywhere there is cruelty, everywhere there is unhappiness, so we think that's all the realities. That's not the reality. We lose hope when we look at this. Every day you watch TV and read newspaper, life becomes hopeless. Is all there is in life. Some fire here, some shooting there, something. That's all we find, conflicts. Everywhere people are so unhappy, so sad. Looks like that is the truth, and we lose hope in the life. Vedanta says no. There is inherently, there is truth in it. That is at the basis of everything. At the root of everything, there is truth. At the root of everything, there is goodness. At the root of everything, there is love and kindness. Forget about everything. We are basically interested in ourselves. Vedanta says that you are truth, you are kind, you are good, you are inherently good, kind, loving being. Meaning that we do not have to go someplace else in search of God. Otherwise you may not even believe in God. I don't believe in God. No, there is no God. Alright. Do you accept that you are there? If somebody says, show me where God is. Alright. Please tell me, are you there or not? Nobody can say, I don't believe that I am. Can you say that? Even to say that it should be there, is it not so? I don't think that I am there. No, that must, then we have to send him someplace, some institute somewhere. One thing we cannot deny, that I am, is it not so? Nobody can deny that. And who are you? Even if you do not understand all the technical language of Brahma and stuff like that, we will tell you very simple language. That who are you? You are a kind, loving, good, beautiful being. Do you like to believe that or not? Everybody likes to believe that. This fellow, I may not believe that he is kind, but I am willing to believe that I am a kind, loving, beautiful, good person. Then there is goodness in the basis of everything. Even though outwardly we see all conflicts, that is not the reality. We see cruelty outward, that is not the reality. The compassion is reality. Love is reality. Kindness is reality. Goodness is reality. This is what Vedanta teaches. Nobody can deny this. And Vedanta doesn't say kindness is there and some heaven. You are that kind, loving, good being. And that is the truth. That's called real. You know what it means? Now we find two things. You, Swami, say that I am a kind person. I find cruelty in me. What about that? You say that I am a good person. Our president is bad. So many times he writes word bad. There are very few words he seems to use, bad. It's a bad person. You know what Vedanta says? Goodness is truth. If goodness is truth or real, then what is badness, Mithya. What is it? Mithya means wrong, mithya. If love is real or true, then what is hatred? Mithya. If goodness is true, then what is evil? Mithya. That's all Satya and Mithya means. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, meaning that all this that you see injustice, you see all disparity, this is what we find here. All of that is only apparent. That's not real. Meaning that don't take it to be truth. Don't base your life on this. Don't think that's the reality of life. And don't base your life on this. Reality is something that you do not see. The root is different. The truth is higher than untruth. Love is higher than hatred. Compassion is higher than cruelty. Is it not so? One is real, other is unreal. In fact, if I tell you, even cruelty also is nothing but love, would you believe me? Distorted love is called cruelty. All there is love, there is no cruelty, no real cruelty. Because even if you look at the cruel person, look at the core of the person. Give that person the right environment. A loving environment, give that person. Then you will find that person also becomes a loving person. So in one person there is love also and cruelty also. Which is real? Love is real. But Swamiji, you never see love in this fellow. You don't know this child. Yeah, you may see love for one moment in the whole year. Maybe when his child comes before him, then he becomes very loving. But that one moment is real. Everything else is what we call unreal, or is all distortion. Meaning that it is distortion. Some problems are there. This person has some difficulties, some problems. Basic problem is ignorance and all kinds of wrong notions created from ignorance. That's what distorts a person. So what distorts the love into hatred is ignorance, and all the misconception born of ignorance distorts the love into hatred. So hatred also is nothing but the distorted manifestation of love. In reality, what is only love? Anger also is love. Would you believe that? Even hatred for somebody is because of love somewhere else. In every expression you will find love someplace. So Vedanta says that is, so don't take as real or ultimate what is superficial, what you see on the surface. Because what we see is what we take it to be real, and that becomes the basis of our life. We live life based on that, and that's all wrong. If the assumption is wrong, then there cannot be success in life. So Vedanta teaches, how to live life. What's the real values of life? What's the real basis? Urdhva moolam, adashakam, ashwatham, prahuravyayam. This tree of samsara, which outward appears to be, there is multiplicity, disparity, all differences, it's all mithya. Adashakam is all lower, is mithya, is unreal. Urdhumulam, the root, which is what we call Ishvara or Satyam, is real, is higher. Ashwatham Prahuravyam. So this is how Lord Krishna begins his teaching of the 15th chapter. We'll continue our discussion tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.